White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. And we are coming to you from a beautiful Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where tonight CSN Chicago presents White Sox baseball. It's Todd Frazier. He's back in that lineup, and Rick Renteria Sox as they get set to take on Paul Molitor's Twins, who have been playing very well. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you the first of this three-game set. As you know, we were coming out of Cleveland last night, where in that three-game series, they won game one 2-1 in 10 innings. We won game two 2-1, and then last night we won it 10-4. But tonight, another first in Chicago baseball history.
This is also a first in baseball history. Never before have three guys with the same name started in the same outfield. Now, the Alous all played together. They just didn't start the game. But tonight, it's Triple Garcia. Starting with Avi, who's red hot. He's hitting .452, hitting everything in sight. Had a big series against the Twins in Chicago. Well, he's also playing with Leury Garcia, who also had a pretty good series. This was a double. And we're seeing the Major League debut of Willie Garcia. This was in Charlotte. He takes the ball out of the ballpark. Came over from the Pirate organization, and now he's getting a look with the White Sox, and there you see. Avi against the Twins was a remarkable series. He was 5 for 10. Leury hit the ball well and stole a base, and at Charlotte, Willie Garcia was hitting everything in sight. He scored 9 runs. That part of it was good. He's hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And so when you get a Rule 5 draft, you have to figure he's going to get a chance. They're getting all their chances tonight.
Well, we've got a lot of youngsters and another one out on that bump making his Major League debut.
Dylan Covey is going to the mound, and it really should be interesting because he had his last start kind of pushed back. So we'll see a guy with a good sinker. He's got a good splitter, and hopefully he can get it over the plate if he can. This Rule 5 draft from the Oakland organization should pay dividends in the starting rotation. As you see, you look at the numbers in spring training, and you look at the one time that Mejia faced our ball club, we roughed him up. You might remember a 14-pitch at bat to Todd Frazier. That seemed to do Mejia in, and eventually, through too many pitches, they took him out of the ball game, not before roughing him up somewhat, so it should be a good one. Two teams playing pretty well, by the way.
All right, first of a three-game set, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
the Minnesota Twins, ready to take on our Sox. Throw the ball around the infield, which means we're ready to play baseball, and that means I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stoney, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on CSN Chicago. So I hope you could join us for the first of this 3-game set. Tim Anderson will lead it off. 23-year-old southpaw out of the Dominican Republic, Alberto Mejia. Outfield straight up, spread out. First pitch of the ball game. And it's taken for a ball. That's popped up into center field. And that's out number one.
We saw Mejia in Chicago. He threw a little bit harder than was advertised. They thought they were getting somewhat of a soft tossing left-hander, but after a spring training start where he threw 95 miles an hour, they realized that the fastball was pretty good. He does have a changeup, a slider to go with that. And far and away, the fastball his best pitch.
Here's Saladino, comes in hitting at 238. Takes ball one. 339 down the left field line. 377 in left center. 411 in deep center. Deep left center. 365 in right center and 328 down the right field line.
I'm not sure how this defensive shift is going to work out if they keep throwing everything away to Tyler. You can see Dozier, he's on the third base side of second. Now he's going to move back over.
And there is a base hit into right field. Tyler sensing and seeing what they were doing.
If you're going to shift like that, to stay away with everything doesn't make a great deal of sense. And 3 straight pitches out away. Tyler takes it into right field. So again, he kind of foils the shift, although this is a base hit anyway.
Here's Abreu hitting at 250. No homers. He's driven in 4.
There's some great storylines in this game tonight. Mejia making his second major league start. The 3 Garcias in the outfield. Paul Molitor looking up to see if there's going to be more baseball, and they've halted the proceedings for a moment. Yeah, apparently the home broadcast had the TV lights on, and of course when that happens, especially the center fielder, he doesn't see the ball real well with the glare in the background.
There's Abreu. Gap out there in left center.
Yeah, baby.
And that's what it looked like until they turned the lights out. That's always a good thing. Had to skip the rope that time to get out of the way.
1-1 to count.
Another one of the great storylines is Dylan Covey making his first major league start. So far, Mejia has not thrown anything but his fastball, and he's not getting that one over the plate consistently. He came over from San Francisco, even up for Eduardo Nunez, who had just a great year with the Twins before going to the Giants and continuing a very strong 2016.
Little commercial toss over there. They got some good defenders in that outfield. Saw him with Corey Provis, the radio play-by-play guy before the game, and Corey said that he just can't imagine anybody in the big leagues so far this year playing better defense in the outfield than these guys: Rosario, Buxton, and Kepler.
Well, we saw it in Chicago, and in one of the wins, Buxton turned the game around in the first inning with 2 great catches. Both of them found him rolling into the center field wall after making the catch, and it turned the game around. Could have been a big inning, and it wasn't.
Well, Buxton, to me, I know he's had his perils of Pauline, his struggles and everything else, but I'll tell you, he's one of the most talented guys I've ever seen come into the game.
Well, he can fly, and watching him go from first to third is a unique experience because there's not too many people faster. Plus, he's got big power. He can throw unbelievably well. Yeah, there's not much that he can't do. The question is consistently hitting the baseball.
The last guy I saw go from first to third, or from home, that's 2 down. It reminds me of Buxton, who was going in the way back clock to the Dodgers. 3-dog.
Willie Davis.
Willie Davis. Same kind of long, low stride. Meanwhile, just absolutely flying. So here is Todd. It's great to see him back in there.
Infield playing him as a dead pull hitter. Outfield straight away. Dozier up the middle, and the reason why he's got to stay fairly close to second base is that he's the man charged with covering if Saladino is going to run.
And right now, let's check out our picks to click tonight. Jim Angio, our director and crew, went with Lee Urey. Fans going with Abreu. Steve's going with Avisail. And Mike Mazza, Tom Eichstadt, Pete Catazone, Laura Arenas, Mary Weiss, and I all are great people in the ticket office. We're going to go with Willie Garcia. So let's Garcia boys.
All the Garcias are picked.
Yeah. And of course, if we forget about the Bertucci boys, we're going to be in deep doo-doo.
I'm just waiting for him to send something up.
Oh,
he could send it up here.
I don't know if you should have said that. 1-2 the count with 2 down here in the top of the first if you're just tuning in. Outfield straight up. Far Todd. Jams him. That could be trouble. Nope, foul. You know, I'd love to see Todd get jammed more. One of the greatest statements I've ever heard about hitting was from the great Hall of Famer Al Kaline of the Detroit Tigers. And I didn't understand it when I first heard it. It's taken me a long time to grasp the enormity of the statement. I was really struggling, and Kaline walked by me one day and said, "Hawk, show me a hitter can't be jammed, and I'll show you a bad hitter." Well, that's not what he said. Bad was not the word. As there's a foul ball, and I didn't know exactly how he meant it, what he meant by it. Now, as the years went on and everything else, if you can't jam a guy, that means he's looking inside, and that means that plate, instead of being 17 inches wide, it's probably about 23 or 24.
Plus, he's most likely flying open, so concerned about the inside pitch that he gets no coverage on the outside part of the plate.
Looking inside is. That's what I'm saying. His plate goes out to 23 or 24 inches instead of 17. And it's the truth. All your great hitters, you could jam them, but don't miss, because they would get you. High pop up right side, Maurer. And that'll retire the side. Solid base hit by Saladino. After having a place, our guys nothing, and their guys coming to bat.
The Twins. Dozier leading it off. Robbie Grossman. He's in the 2 spot. Then it's Joe Mauer, Miguel Sano, Kepler, Castro, Polanco, Rosario, and Buxton rounded out. Let's take a look at how the defense is going to line up behind Dylan Covey. Garcia in the outfield with Matt Davidson, Tim Anderson, Tyler Saladino, Jose Abreu in the infield, Kevin Smith with a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is, for the first time in the major leagues, Dylan Covey. There you look at the numbers last year. Pretty good.
23 years old, out of Pasadena. As Dozier, one of the best fastball hitters in the major leagues. Fouls that one away. All he did last year, hit 42 homers and drive in 99 from that leadoff spot. I mentioned our team ERA 2.72, their team ERA 2.77. Those are the 2 top ERAs in the American League.
Well, both bullpens have really started off exceptionally well, which is pretty good for the Twins, seeing as they were last in the American League last year.
And there is the base hit. He also is a good base runner. He's already stolen 4 bases this year.
He starts it off, and the shift not effective because he goes to right field. You can see nobody home on the right side. Normally that would be right at the second baseman, but you take the power away from Dozier if you get him looking the other way. Last year the stolen bases were down for a man who routinely would steal 25 to 35 bases. He had 18 last year.
So here's Grossman. Now in the limited times we have seen him, he has looked pretty good. Dangerous. Last year hit 280, 11 homers, drove in only 37 in limited action.
Being a switch hitter, and the number 2 spot suits him well because he will take some pitches, and if Dozier is going to run, your second place hitter has got to take some pitches.
So the outfield shifted well around to the left. Huge gap out there in right center.
We show you the defense, and I'll be way off the line and right.
What Target Field, what a beautiful ballpark. There he goes.
Well, that's 5 of them. And he got a very good jump on Dylan Covey. Not much of a chance for Kevin Smith. You see, he probably had a 3-step jump. And even with a pretty decent throw, he had no chance.
So that'll change the dynamics of the at-bat for Robbie Grossman. Now, and our outfield plays it that way, which is good. They move back up straight up instead of shifting way over to the left.
This is the one thing that you always worry about in your major league debut, especially a pitcher who at times has had some problems getting the ball over the plate, and that is just that, getting the ball over the plate, because he's got a good enough curveball. If he gets it over, he's got a good enough change if he gets it over. And that's why Kevin Smith went out there right away to try to settle him down, get him to throw strikes.
He also has a better than average, good enough flow of adrenaline going.
There's no doubt. And that works against the sinker. And that's what he depends on.
There's a strike.
Got pretty good movement on that fastball. When you are a sinker baller, you want to pitch to contact. There's not a whole lot of sinker ballers that are big strikeout pitchers. You want guys to hit the top of the baseball. That's what a sinker forces you to do.
And there's another one. Yeah, we used to tell our guys who were sinker ball pitchers, hey, let's kill some worms out there tonight.
You want them to throw 15 ground balls if you can get it.
Right out in front of home plate.
That one borderline, and it goes to Covey.
No score, bottom of the first. If you're just tuning in, at a rain delay. There was a lot of speculation this afternoon that this game would not be played, and also for tomorrow. We've had some difficulties with our pitch tracks. We're endeavoring to get that fixed for you. The only reason I'm saying is because Kevin Smith double clutched on that one a little bit. There's a strike. Bauer hitting at .214, no homers. He's driven in 5 last year. .261, 11 homers, and drove in 49. In the last few years, Joe has been having a lot of problems, which he did not have early on in his career.
Now, 3-time batting champion. Was able to hit the ball out of the ballpark in the dome, but this park plays a little too big for a lot of his line drives to leave the yard.
That's up high. Well, through 2013, Mauer had a .323 career batting average. However, since 2014, he's only hitting .266.
When you don't drive in a whole lot of runs or hit home runs, and you're in the 3 spot, it's not a good place for you to be.
There's a strike. The count 1-2.
In Chicago, our defense played him drastically to pull in the infield. Now, he'll hit the ball the opposite way in the outfield, but he'll pull a lot of soft ground balls to the right side. But in a situation first and second, nobody out, Anderson cannot play him as drastically to pull.
That's what he's going to try to do in this situation, is hit the ball hard go the opposite way with it unless it's something from the middle end. And Leury Garcia playing him well over towards Willie Garcia left. Avi Garcia well over into right center.
With the big gap, as you can see right there in right center field, and nobody home in right field.
Back through the middle. Nice snap. Turns it over. 2 down. He is, I'll tell you, in that Cleveland series, we saw 2 of the best talents at shortstop in all of Major League Baseball.
You're not kidding. And Tim Anderson, right there, got a strong arm. Doesn't really need the great balance to get the throw off. Here, just a flick after he touches the bag, and he's very accurate with it.
What made that play, though, was just how quick. That ball was hit hard back through the middle. Just how quick he recognized it and got there. Made it easy. Easy. Here's a strong man. Miguel Sano, just 23 years old. I was talking with the Dutchman, Hall of Fame right-hander Bert Lavin, prior to the game, and he said in Detroit the other day, you know the 420 sign in straightaway center?
Yep.
He had a line drive that Dutchman said it off that center field fence. He said if they measured it the next day, it would have said 421.
Well, he's enormously strong, and I think for him, best thing they did was put him back in his natural position, which is third base. Last year, they tried to put him in right field. He didn't play particularly well, and also wound up with a hamstring problem that sidelined him. So they decided to get rid of Trevor Plouffe, let him go, and bring Sano back to third base. And his hitting has shown that he's pretty comfortable there.
High pop up, so he's going to pitch out of it. Saladino making the call, has the ball, and a nice recovery right there by Dylan Covey in his Major League debut. Chicago is presented by State Farm. And we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Lost Nation Elwood Telephone and Lost Nation Iowa. Lost Nation, yes. I know there's one gentleman out there that really gets a little peeved when Pitch Tracks is not in there, and they have endeavored and they have won. So we will have Pitch Tracks for you. They had a lot of problems technical problems with that. So when they have technical problems, there's nothing they can do. And poof, there it is. If the thing breaks down, don't want to work it, just don't want to work. Here's Avi. Avi hitting at a smooth 452, a homer. He's driven in 8.
You can get out ahead of one. The huge gap is left center field. Buxton, who plays a fairly shallow center because of his great speed, is shaded over to right center.
Ball hit hard. Nice play by Polanco. Low throw. Mauer gets out there. That's a nice play all the way around. That ball was absolutely scalded.
Polanco is a natural second baseman, and he's got good footwork. He's pretty quick at short, but he doesn't have a normal shortstop's arm. This is a good pick because this one would have eaten up a lot of guys. He was able to make the play, and Joe Mauer on the long hop able to make the scoop.
Well, the Twins defensively are very good on the right side. As Matt Davidson pops it up right side, Kepler now makes the call. And the German-born Max Kepler makes the catch. 2 down. And they're great in the outfield defensively. Left side, they're a little weak.
Yeah, Sano's had his problems, and Polanco doesn't have a normal shortstop's arm. But now we're going to see the first major league at bat of Willie Garcia, who spent 8 years in the minor leagues trying to get here. This is a monumental achievement for him. That's what he did in AAA to earn the call up. So it wasn't exactly like anything was handed to him, and he's just happy to be here from the Pirate organization.
Well, he was 11. Willie was 11 for 23 down there in 7 games with a double, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 8 walks. So that's a pretty good start for the young man.
They're playing as a dead pull hitter, although in the outfield they're playing straight away. But Sano and Polanco are almost shaking hands on the left side.
Breaking ball. Grabs the strike with it. Keeps getting that breaking ball up there, though, and he might have a little problem.
Yeah, that rolled a little bit more than he would like. And this is the changeup.
And he gave it away. Meanwhile, he hits it in. Look at this. How about this? Congratulations. And now he's going to turn it on. Good throw, maybe. He gone. So a nice relay play by Minnesota, but Willie Garcia's first major league hit.
Face the New England Revolution tomorrow afternoon as they go for 2 in a row. Coverage begins at 3:30 on CSN Plus with Chicago Fire pregame. We'll take a look at first major league hit, his first major league at bat. It's a high changeup, and high changeups get hit awfully hard. So now he has visions, perhaps, of, well, being Mike Trout. And unfortunately, he does not get there. They did have an internal review of the play. They didn't make an official challenge to it, and he gets a double and high fives. But he made the third out at third.
Well, Mike Mazza, Larry Majorak, Tom Eichstadt, Pete Catazone, or Arenas, Mary Weiss picked a click. One at bat, one hit in the big leagues. Kepler. That's into right field, so that's going to be a leadoff double.
There was a chance with a good Karam. He might have had a shot at Kepler at second base because Avi throws the ball very well, but this one just held up. It got caught under the padding for a minute and did not bounce back out to Avi, so he had to go get it. And Kepler, who rifles it by Abreu, coasts into second base.
So here's Jason Castro. Well, what a good-looking catcher he was when he broke in with the Houston Astros.
It's pretty good now. Off to a very good start with this team.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to be one of the top-tier catchers in all of baseball.
Well, a #1 draft pick out of Stanford, who came out, and he was ideal for Minute Maid Park because as a left-hand hitter, his best stroke is flipping the ball to left and left center field. With the Crawford boxes in Houston, it was just ideal for him. Always known for his defense, and this year he's hitting the ball well.
Ball gets away. Into third goes Kepler.
Take another look at it. It's pass ball. Looks like he was, if he wasn't crossed up,
he had to be crossed up.
You don't go after a fastball like that. So he went out there and had a word with Dillon, and you would assume in a situation like that, when you look at how Kevin Smith, pretty good defensive catcher, goes out and just misses the ball, he was looking for something else.
That's up high.
Infield is back. They're going to concede the run to try to stay out of the big inning.
And it's a good thing they did that they've been playing in. That would have been a base hit. So it was 1-0.
7th run batted in for Jason Castro, who in 113 games last year, 113 games, he drove in only 32. So this is a monumentally good start for him.
It's all you want. Ground ball with a man on third, less than 2 out.
That's it. Get the run home.
Here's Polanco. Turns and burns. There's the throw. Good throw by Avi. Meanwhile, another double. That's his third double of the young season.
Jorge Polanco won the job at shortstop. And he's been swinging it pretty well in the early going. Avi makes a good play, gets it in to make it a whole lot closer than it looked like it was going to be at second.
Here's Eddie Rosario, the left fielder, hitting in 156 off to a slow start average-wise.
last year they sent Rosario down, and it seemed to work because he came back and swinging it pretty well. This year off to a very slow start.
Two down. He got a little pop. We saw him 2 years ago go about a third of the way up in that right center field upper tank.
Yeah, there's no questioning how far he can hit the ball. The question is, can he hit it consistently? And last year he hit 269, so that wasn't all that bad, but only hit 10 home runs in 92 games.
Here's the very talented but struggling youngster, 23 years old, Byron Buxton. Takes ball one.
Well, he's got a Hall of Fame manager who had well over 3,000 hits and was an accomplished butter, both dragging or pushing it. And he's trying to impress upon Buxton how many hits he can get with his speed if he would just bunt every now and then. Another factor that makes it difficult for him as a young hitter. So you don't know exactly what everybody's trying to do with you, but he's become a dead pull hitter, which is okay if you're Brian Dozier, not so okay if you're Byron Buxton.
Yeah, you saw Paul Molitor, one of the best fastball hitters to ever play the game of baseball. Fakes the bunt.
Blanco was coming down the line. Obviously, you're not going to see a suicide in that situation.
No, but it was, that tell you, it was probably a sign from Molitor.
Yeah, lay it down if you get a good pitch.
Yeah, exactly. There's a strike. You try to do everything you can to a super talented guy like Buxton. Try to do everything you can to give him a break so that something will happen. He can gain a little confidence. Sometimes on who you play. I don't believe in sticking him out there every day against, you know, if you're going to be talking about. Watch out. Wow, hit the umpire.
Boy, that was
good too. Wow.
That got him flush. He was in foul territory. Now, Gene Glynn, he wants to look back, I guess, and get an appeal, but you know what? All you're left with is an embarrassed Todd Tichenor.
This ball is scalded.
He couldn't get out of the way, and it caused him some pain and some embarrassment as he is bright red.
Wow. Todd, I applaud you, buddy, because it is.
He's going to remember that one.
Well, he's got Rob Manfred all over his ribs. Got him. But they get on the board, lead off double by Kepler, and it's 1-0 Twins.
of course, the Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
1-0 Minnesota. And here's Kevin Smith. First ball hunting. Right to Dozier. So 1 pitch, 1 out. Kevin, who had last year 16 at bats with us.
Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 28.
Had a couple of hits last season. Meanwhile,
we had a chance to get some more, and I talked with him about that day in Toronto that he was stretching in front of the dugout in what was going to be his first major league start. And he said he felt something. Then he went back in the training room, started to do some weights to loosen up, and he said it got worse and worse. And of course, he never made that start. He was a late season call-up. Then he finally got his first major league start, but terribly disappointing. Could not go to the post his first chance.
We had more than one.
Yeah,
that call-ups that were. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. That either in their first start or could not make their first start because of an injury. Kevin, of course, was the quarterback at the University of Pittsburgh.
That's pretty good.
He's a big guy, 6'4", 230. That ball hitting the gap hard. Nobody's going to get that one. See, Leury will pick up. That's his third double.
Well, apparently, as so often happens, I picked the wrong Garcia. Because Willie and Leury have doubles, and Avi has a ground ball to shortstop. I was trying to pick Andy Garcia because I thought he could come in and act his way like a major league catcher, but they didn't pick up Andy before the game.
Well, your guy hit the ball just as hard as these other two.
But no, you pay on performance, no performance.
That was your fault.
True. Leury had a double against Mejia, left-handed in Chicago. Now he has a right-handed double.
Oh, Timmy. Stay fair. It won't. One hop.
Got a few guys making their major league debut tonight. Your first at bat. Where was it? Who'd you face?
My first at bat was I was called up from Portland, and we were in Seattle, and I had faced Jerry Stevenson that night in a ball game, and I went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. I never even fouled a pitch off against Stevie. And so that night we were playing poker. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning in the hotel in Seattle, and the phone rings, and it's Charlie Finley. And I had just broken the Coast League record for consecutive games homered, but he said, come on, get your stuff and come to Kansas City tomorrow. And I was thinking to myself, well, I just struck out 4 times in this game tonight. So anyway, I get on the plane the next day, fly in Chicago. I joined the club about the 5th or 6th inning. Juan Pizarro was pitching for the White Sox. I pinch hit about the 6th or 7th inning. He struck me out. Then we leave to go to Minnesota. And we come here in the old Met. Jim Cott was pitching. First time up, I hit a rocket right back through the middle for a base hit, and then about the 8th inning, I hit a home run over the center field fence. So that was my first game.
That was your first start.
Yeah.
Something you'll always remember, and the guys who are making their first start tonight will always remember what happened. And in the case of Dylan Covey, he'll remember Brian Dozier for the rest of his life.
Sure he will.
For that base hit. And he'll also remember, by the way, that he did not score in the first inning.
Yep. That's. You and I both have. When we see youngsters making their initial start, their first at bat, have a lot of emotion.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, it's just great because I remember with my parents how they felt, and it was just, it's something that is so memorable that doesn't matter what you accomplish and how long you happen to have the pleasure and the privilege of playing this game, you're always going to remember that first at bat or the first hitter you faced. Walk number 1 for Tim Anderson. That's a good sign.
Timmy's going to wind up, in my opinion, being one of those guys that I don't know if you want him walking a whole bunch, because he got a chance to be a good hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, a real good hitter with big power. Got some of the strongest hands and wrists on this ball club. And he is quick.
One thing he's not going to do is run down Leury.
No.
Leary's got really good speed, and so does Tim Anderson. This is just about as fast as we get for a twosome, and now Sano's coming over to talk with Mejia, who's having all kinds of problems getting the ball over the plate consistently.
Saladino was 1 for 1. Shot a single in the right center field. Got a good pitch to hit there and fouls it away. Tell you what, Tyler has got tremendous baseball acumen.
Well, it's going to hold him in good stead, because he told me that he wants to be a coach when his career is over. He'd like nothing more than to work with young players and teach them all the things that he learned in his professional career.
I'll tell you one thing, if he hangs around for about 10 years, he's probably going to wind up being a manager.
I think he would like that also. But I was just impressed by listening to him speak about working with young players. He thinks he's got a lot to impart. I believe he does also, and I think he's going to be a good one wherever he winds up.
And that will load him up. Back-to-back walks to Anderson, Saladino, after the one-out double by Leury. Here's Abreu. He struck out his first trip. Well, you talk about smart players. You probably, I would say, two of the smartest, if not the smartest guys on our team, baseball-wise, are Tyler and Todd Frazier. And you're seeing not quite as many guys come into talent-wise. Yes, talent-wise, tremendous talent. The baseball acumen and knowing how to play the game and everything else. There's not as many coming in now as there were 15, 20 years ago.
And one of the biggest reasons is that, for the most part, you're not spending near as much time in the minor leagues learning your craft as you used to when, you know, it was a long time ago, obviously, when teams had 20, 22 minor league teams, and it took you a long time to get through the system. Once you did, you had a pretty good idea how to play. Now, with the lack of talent, you're not taking near as much, and fewer games in the minor leagues, fewer opportunities to learn before you get here.
Well, back in those days, here's first pitch, got a good pitch to hit, couldn't do anything with it. You only had 8 teams in the American League, 8 teams in the National League, so you spent more time. You spent more times in the minor league, more time in there, and young guys who are being rushed to the big leagues today, that wouldn't even come close to coming to the big leagues back in those days.
Nope, not a chance.
Not when you get 30 teams, 15 in each league. Very quickly, 2 strikes. Golden opportunity for our guys to break through right here with sacks packed with Sox and only 1 out. Down ball, there's 1. Can't get him, and this game is tied at 1. High, thank goodness it was a high, slow chopper.
Dozier did the best he could do, but it was a slow developing attempt at a double play. By the time he got the throw off, there was really no chance, as Jose, sniffing out a run batted in, gets his 5th on that chopper.
So here's Todd. He popped up high, towering pop up to Mauer at first base. That ball backhanded. Nice play by Polanco. The long throw in time. Another nice play by Jorge Polanco. But we get a run. We tie it up. And we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd.
Playoffs are here. The Bulls hope to knock off the top-seeded Celtics. And after splitting the regular season series, Game 1 is up for grabs. Coverage begins at 4:30 with Bulls pregame live or stream at csnchicago.com and on the NBC Sports app.
Leadoff man Brian Dozier will lead it off for the Twinkies here in their half of the 3rd inning. Game tied at 1.
And there was some thoughts during the wintertime that perhaps they would move Dozier, trying to take advantage of their rebuild by restocking their system. And the Dodgers were the team that kept coming up as far as trades are concerned, because they've got a deep system.
Well, there are a lot of teams that would have loved to have had Brian Dozier.
Yeah. Dodgers just weren't willing to part with some of their better prospects to get him, and with the trade package not right, they held on to him.
There's the strike. Yeah, Brian singles into right center field, leading off the bottom of the 1st, then picked up his 5th stolen base.
Pretty elite company in American League history. Brian Dozier, 42 as a second baseman, the all-time record.
It's also the most home runs for the Twins, since Harmon Killebrew hit 49 back in 1969.
He had a few years where he hit more than 42.
Well, let's just put it this way. This ballpark, as no other ballpark I've ever seen, would hold Harmon Killebrew.
No, he hit the ball 8 miles and
8 miles straight up.
Yep.
And it just didn't come down.
There's number 3 and number 29 right next to him. That's Rod Carew. Had a great story about Rod Carew.
How about
by the
that?
way. Just a wonderful story. He needed a heart transplant, and as it turned out, he also needed a kidney. And there was a professional football player, 29 years old. The irony is Rod Carew's number 29 as he walks him. And so he had an aneurysm. He was hospitalized. He texted his mother, and he said that he think that God has a bigger plan for him, and didn't know quite what it was yet, but they would see. Well, unfortunately, the aneurysm ruptured, and they tried. He was brain dead, and they eventually, because he had checked off the box of being an organ donor, they then started to harvest his organs, and the match was, of all people, Rod Carew, who the player had met when he was a 9-year-old. And all he could talk about was meeting Rod Carew. What a wonderful experience it was. And they had a TV segment on him today where they showed the two families meeting. Just, you know, it just brought a tear to your eye. It was
sure it did.
Unbelievable. In fact, Rod handed his mother a stethoscope to listen to the heart that was now beating in Rod Carew's body, knowing that her son would live on through Rod Carew.
And she told Rod, now you're also a member of our family.
I mean, it was just, the whole thing was, you know, it was a wonderful story. And, you know, Rod Carew's a great man, and they love him here, obviously, in Minnesota. The story was just, it was beautiful. Rain is coming down pretty hard right now.
Yeah, I remember Rod when he came to the league in 1967. He was a 7-time batting champion.
Unbelievable. And could do something that I've never seen done. Left-hand pitchers against him, a left-hand hitter. He got 2 strikes. He would lay down a perfect bunt and beat it out more times than not.
Well, he could run. But he also had the most unique style, one of the most unique styles. You know, Cooperstown is full of guys who had unique styles. You watched them play and you didn't know who they were, and you saw them play one game, you say, well, that guy can't play. Meanwhile, they're in Cooperstown. All Rod did was just rotate his hands. That's all he did. He had none of the extensions, so to speak. He just rotated his hands. All right, take your time, because you're not going to get 2. Meanwhile, 1 out.
Good hard slide at second base. Dozier is known to go in hard, and he did just that.
First baseman Joe Mauer.
I'll tell you, I love to watch Brian Dozier play. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played.
And one of the things that I think Tim probably like to start doing is, you get a throw like that, if you know the guy coming down is going to try to get a piece of you, might want to move a bit. He was flat-footed, got the throw off, still got the out, could not turn the double play.
Well, that's the play right there. You want to make it as quickly as you can, but certainly under control, because your chances are you're not going to turn 2, and Saladino knows that. There, Mauer fakes the bunt, takes a strike, and it is now
coming down pretty hard.
Well, it's getting to be like the cow on the flat rock.
Yeah. Well, we knew that there was a lot of rain in the area. We just didn't know when it would arrive, and it appears to be here.
And our associate producer, Chris Kamka, says radar doesn't look too bad, just a small front coming through right now. Isn't the forecast tomorrow for rain all day?
Yeah, it's a worse, actually it was a worse forecast for tomorrow than for today, and it's a day game tomorrow. Unfortunately, what they're saying is a lot of the rain is going to move out, only it's going to move out later then the game time, it's going to move out early in the evening. With the rain coming down like this, it pretty much takes the stolen base out of the equation, except for guys with elite speed, which Grossman doesn't have. He does not have a stolen base attempt this year.
Yeah, that game tomorrow is at 1:10. And that game will be over WGN. And the finale here at 3:10 on Sunday. We'll be right back here on CSN Chicago.
The reason for the start is Easter Sunday. Very difficult conditions to pitch in. Number one, it's not real easy to get a good grip on the ball. And number two, that landing foot, in the case of Dillon, the left foot has a tendency to move ever so slightly, in which case you're not going to have near as good a control as you normally have. It creates a lot of problems, but especially for younger pitchers.
Yeah, this is getting to be Rick Dempsey weather here.
when he
Babe
did
Ruth?
the slide, when he did, well, yeah, he imitates Babe Ruth. That was great.
Rick Dempsey was a catcher and a terrific catcher for the Baltimore Orioles. In fact, he was one of Stoney's catchers.
Came from a show business family, and he might have had a future in that, but he played 24 years in the major leagues.
He definitely would have had a future in that. Well, what a catcher he was.
And one of the better guys at throwing out base stealers, and you could not get the ball by him in the dirt. And that's one thing that any catcher can do for his pitcher, especially if you're a breaking ball pitcher, is tell him, you can't throw it by me as long as you keep it low. And with Dempsey, that's the way it was.
Yeah. Two. All right. They get Grossman to second. And you can join White Sox charities at C.J. Wilson Mazda in Orland Park on Saturday, April 22nd from 11 to 1 for the car raffle kickoff party. And you can get an autograph from the 1983 Rookie of the Year, big man from Gary, Ron Kittle. Ron hit 35 homers, drove in 100 that year. And you can win lots of great prizes. So C.J. Wilson Mazda for their support this season. Visit whitesox.com/soxcar for more details on the car raffle.
Kevin Smith went out to talk with Dillon about the big man you're looking at, Miguel Sano, with huge power to all fields.
I was talking with some Minnesota people before the game, said that Sano was one of the nicest, sweetest guys you ever want to meet. And as big and strong as he is, thank goodness.
Except when you're 60 feet 6 inches away and he's swinging at a hanging breaking ball.
Yep.
Which we've seen him hit in the third deck here.
He said Byron Buxton is the same way. Just a sweet person. That breaking ball down low.
Let's do it.
Last year, Sano struck out 178 times in 437 at bats. A full season of 600 plus, that's 250 strikeouts.
jammed himself right there.
Just missed down low to a fastball. Tried to throw it by him.
Ball hit hard. Meanwhile, sucked up over to Saladino by Anderson, and that'll retire the side. We go to the fourth. Tied at 1.
I've been slider changeup fastball since I started pitching my freshman year and then took a break. So my junior year I went with those 3, and ever since then I haven't really looked back or tried adding anything.
Well, you've got a young pitcher with a pretty good idea about what he wants to do. It's working very well for him as he starts his career with the Sox. He was very impressive in spring training. His ERA below 3. Thrown it very well in the minor leagues, and looks to me like he probably is a closer in waiting, because that stuff can be overwhelming.
Javi Garcia, Matt Davidson, and Willie Garcia. Javi just scalded one. And Polanco at short made a terrific play on him to get it.
Normally you would expect most center fielders to play him a few steps deeper, but Buxton has the great speed, and that's one of the reasons why he's able to play a little more shallow than most.
Good pitch he made right there.
And that was one of the better sliders that Mejia has thrown there. You look at where Buxton is for a guy with the power of Avi. Not overly deep.
I'll show me a guy that plays shallow in center field, and I'll show you guys very confident.
A lot of guys can't play shallow because they don't go back on a ball very well. So they take advantage of what they can do, which is come in. In the case of Buxton, he can cover alley to alley with the best of them out there. Very similar to Kevin Kiermaier of the Tampa Bay Rays.
That kid in Anaheim, Big Abe, does a pretty good job himself.
I would say so.
There's a shot base hit. That boy Avi. Oh, he is swinging that bat.
You saw it on that pitch. I mean, he was fooled with a slider earlier, and that time he didn't go out and get it. He stayed back. It's the same pitch that he swung through before, only this time he waits back, which is something he didn't do much of last year.
You could see that slight pause that Steve just mentioned, kept keeping his hands back. He did not have that last year.
Nope, not at all. And it caught him out front of most everything and made it very difficult to hit anything off speed.
So now watch this. You'll see a little slight pause. You see he's up on the bat just a hair. Right there. And that keeps the hands back.
Yeah, to me, that front foot can come out. If you keep your hands back, you haven't fooled him. And so the pitcher then is going to have to make an adjustment because he was right on that. 9-game hitting streak for Avi. And coincidentally, the team is playing their 9th game. So it doesn't get too much better than that. Actually, it never gets any better than that. Except if he goes to 10 and keeps on going.
Well, he's got a chance to be not a good player. He's got a chance to be a great player. Yes, he did. Unfortunately, he did go around.
Fielded Bill Miller, but there was no doubt. That's strike 3. And he'll leave it up to Willie.
Willie Garcia, if you're just tuning in, his first major league at bat in the 2nd inning with 2 out. Doubled into the gap on a high changeup from Mejia, and then was thrown out at 3rd on a beautiful relay play. And the reason who made that play was the speed of Byron Buxton and the arm of Byron Buxton on a perfect relay throw to Polanco.
A study in persistence is Willie Garcia, who spent 8 years in the minor leagues trying to get exactly where he is now, in the batter's box of a major league ballpark.
That's hard to believe since he's only 24 years old.
Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Signed as a youngster with Pittsburgh, non-drafted free agent, as so often happens, and trying to fight his way up. Claimed on waivers by the Sox and off to just a great start in AAA this year.
It's not a play right side. Well, the great Ted Williams let's go to the Miller moment first.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and something that he will always remember is this double up the gap. Buxton gets to it quickly, and unfortunately, 3rd out at 3rd base is in the books.
But the great Ted Williams always said that they should never bring up a young hitter unless he's had at least 3,000 at-bats in the minor leagues.
That was a wonderful philosophy back then, but now they're coming up with much less than that.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. Get a good pitch to hit there, and just underneath it. That's outside.
Had a backdoor breaking ball, but couldn't get the rotation on it. That's the thing that'll suffer. Fastball, you're able to get a grip and throw it. You're not going to suffer with control on the fastball, but that delicate feeling you have in your fingertips on a breaking ball when it's wet like this, you're not going to be able to feel it as well. That looked like a balk. He did not step toward first base. Looked like he pretty much stepped straight toward the plate before throwing to first. And that's when the first base coach says to Bill Miller, hey, you got to watch that.
Ivy a decent lead. Full count.
Well, this is becoming a pretty good battle. Not yet reminiscent of that Mejia Frazier battle, guaranteed rate field, but it's starting to get that way with Willie fouling off some pretty good pitches to stay alive.
Outfield straight up, spread out about equidistant. Now a little bigger lead by Avi. Half a step bigger. And there's a pretty good change. 2 down.
Let's take another look. In a perfect spot. Castro wanted it inside, and that's where Mejia got it.
Got it 84, so he took something off that breaking ball.
Yeah, about a 10-mile-an-hour difference.
So here's Kevin Smith.
When I talked with Tyler Saladino and Kevin Smith, they both said the same thing about Ricky Renteria. He lets these players know the night before if they're going to play the next day, in an effort to allow them to get mentally prepared for the game. Physically, they're prepared anyway, but he wants them to have that advantage of knowing they're going to go to the post tomorrow. A lot of managers don't do that. I mean, it's managerial preference. Some of them will tell you when you come to the ballpark, if your name is on the lineup card, well, then you're in. Other managers want them to know ahead of time.
Well, and then there's some managers that'll tell you, hey, you're in there tomorrow. You get to the ballpark the next day and you're not in the lineup. We had one like that.
That's not too good.
No,
It's
kidding me?
Not too good at all.
Some years ago we had one like that. So you ask them why, and then the response was, well, we're going to try to win this game tonight.
That's why we're not playing you? That's good.
That happened. I mean, too. I'm not going to mention who it was or who it happened to, but he walked in, asked this manager, hey, you told me last night I was in there tonight. He said, well, we're going to try to win this game tonight.
That's real good. That's great for the confidence of the player.
Yeah.
One of the best things I heard, manager to a player, and of course he was kidding him, but it was pretty funny. Jim Leland with a player by the name of Gary Varsho, who's a wonderful guy and been around the game forever. And the general manager in those days was Ted Simmons of the Pirates. And Ted came down on the field, and Leland went over to Varsho and said, don't let him see you. If he knows you're here, he's going to release you. So he told him to go to the outfield. Don't let Ted see it.
Yeah, Gary Varsho, I didn't know him hardly, but they say he was a terrific guy.
What a nice man.
Yeah. Another foul ball. They're working Mejia out here.
Yeah. Hitters are battling, and something that we haven't seen a lot of is protracted at-bats from just about everybody in the lineup.
Oh, one of the reasons being with 2 strikes, these guys are choking up. You're going to make more contact. Choking up. Especially with 2 strikes. Oh, there's a foul back to the screen. So Ivy in the second.
That's a wild pitch. Normally Castro would not backhand this ball, but he was looking for a high fastball. You can see where the target was. You're looking, you've got the glove up, you got the high fastball target, then you have to go down and get it. It's not good technique to backhand a ball that's pretty close to the middle of your body, especially with a man at first base, because now he's in scoring position.
Ate him up, pops him up, Kepler, and that'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still tied at 1. In this 1-1 tie, they scored run in the second. We scored 1 in the third. So it'll be Kepler, Castro, and Polanco to face Dylan Covey, 25-year-old right-hander out of Pasadena. Dylan 6'1", 220 pounds. Here's Kepler. He doubled leading off the second, came around to score.
Dylan came over as a Rule 5 draft from Oakland. Had some decent years in the minor leagues with them, and getting an opportunity now after the Rule 5 draft to start a major league game. 4th round pick, June 2013 by Oakland.
One and one to count. Kepler.
There you see the shift, and Kepler, like Mauer, faked a bunt. It doesn't really foil the shift unless you actually bunt.
There's a strike. Well, some of the decisions that have been made, some of the pickups that have been made, gives you the impression that Nick Hostetler, director of amateur scouting, but also involved in everything, is that ball's going to be playable. And it's out number 1. But That's one of the first things you think about.
Jason Castro.
He's getting the job done.
Well, there's some very big additions to the team. And that ball stayed in play. Really went over and got a big first out. A very good hitter in Kepler, who rifled the double the first time up.
And make no mistake about it. Unless you're going to have yourself a 200, maybe $220 million payroll, unless you've got a director or good amateur scouting, you're not going to be successful.
No, and not too many teams want to go up to 200 million for a payroll.
That's the reason there are not many teams that are successful. Castro grounded out to Saladino, knocking in Kepler after he had gone to third on a pass ball.
What a play by Tim Anderson up the middle.
He's just so quick. I'm telling you, I don't know if there's anybody in this league, maybe the National League, but I don't know if there's anybody whose recognition factor is better than Tim Anderson. He is quick.
Yeah, well, here he is. He's on the first base side of second, and this ball is on the third base side of second. And he goes over and still makes the play, taking a base hit away from Castro.
You get some guys that are fast. Very seldom do you get a guy who's quick and fast. There's a difference. What makes the difference is the recognition factor. Polanco doubled down into the right field corner.
Off to a red hot start, won the job at shortstop and hitting .290.
Pokes that one. Another count hangs at 0-2.
Pretty ironic that Polanco grew up Dominican Republic in San Pedro de Macorís. Teammates of Miguel Sano. They've been teammates since they were 12.
Off the end of the bat. You got to hurry. He does. Can't get the ears on it.
Well, knowing that Polanco can really run, Tyler tried to speed it up, but he's getting a wet baseball. Getting a lot of rain. Difficult to handle. He comes up thinking about it, but couldn't get the throw off.
If he comes up clean, he's not going to get Polanco on that one. Just hit too slow, but the wetness is what caused it. Missed the handle on it.
That's true.
So here's Rosario. Polanco is yet to attempt a stolen base.
You can be very fast but not have technique, and if that's the case, you're going to get thrown out a lot. And for a right-hand pitcher, base stealers will look at the left shoulder, or they'll look at the right knee or foot. And that's one of the keys, and every base stealer has a different key. But the great base stealers will study pitchers' moves, their setup, and every aspect of how they come to first base just as thoroughly as they're scouting pitchers to see what they're throwing them.
And there's some that primarily do it on counts. They're smart base runners. They will pick a breaking ball to go what they feel like is going to be a breaking pitch.
Yeah.
And if they do, they're going to make it. If they don't, they got a chance of getting thrown out. Grabs a strike on the outside corner.
This is a pretty good time to run, because if you do get thrown out, you'd rather lead off with Rosario than Buxton anyway. And so we'll see what the Hall of Famer Paul Molitor has in mind for Polanco.
Well, Paulie knows what he's doing. He could steal a base.
He could steal a base.
So that'll retire the side. We'll go to the 5th. 9-1.
Time now for our AARP player profile, and let's hope that it's not a reflection on the broadcast team.
I'm proud to be 75 years old. I hope I can last a few more.
Yeah, there you see how Willie Garcia and Dylan Covey got here. And later we'll take a look at a couple of other Major League debuts in the same game. 3 times in Sox history it's happened. And this is the other 3 times it's happened. Pretty good twosome, Alex Fernandez and Fred Thomas.
Yeah, last year we were here in Minnesota when I had my 75th birthday. And that's when the Dutchman, Bert Blyleven, Hall of Fame right-hander, came over with this beautiful birthday cake and tried to get me to smell it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good plan.
Can you have you ever had anybody ask you to smell a birthday cake?
Well, usually you wind up with a nose full of frosting. So, no.
I looked at him.
Yeah.
I said, are you serious?
You think I was born yesterday?
Here, Hawk, smell this. Smell this, Hawk. It really smells great.
And Ryan Presley getting ready in the pen. Actually, you wonder if Mejia is okay, only because
he's thrown a lot of pitches.
He has. He's thrown a lot of pitches. But only 74 of them. So we'll see how he fares this inning.
74 in 4 innings.
It's a few.
Yeah. Leury doubled and scored back in the 3rd.
Number 7, Tim Anderson.
And you can see our Sox take on the Cleveland Indians on Friday, April 21st at 7:10. First 20,000 fans in attendance will receive a White Sox tote bag presented by MLB Network. So stay after the game for a post-game fireworks show presented by MLB Network. So to purchase your tickets, WhiteSox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. So here's Tim. That's the third walk issued. That's into center field. Tim now 0 for 2 with a base on balls.
20, Tyler Saladino.
That was a pretty good man if you decide that you might want to put a hit and run on. A good speed at first in Leury.
He's just about the poster child for a good two-hole hitter. The more you see Tyler Saladino play, the more you know he's a good player.
And he can play just about anywhere. Fortunately, the rain that was so insistent seems to have gone away for the moment.
And that's going foul. Good check, good eye. First of 3. Here at Target Field, as we mentioned, tomorrow day game. Jose Quintana against Irvin Santana. That game will be over WGN on Sunday in the finale. James Shields, who has had 2 really good, strong outings against Hector Santiago, former Sox southpaw, who is really pitching well. Now they're gonna. He gets back in. Now he comes off the bag and they get it.
He was safe, and then the hand came off the bag. He wasn't able to hook the front of the bag as he went back in head first. Mauer wisely kept the tag on it. It is a hit and run. Leury on the wet turf gets back, and then Joe keeps a glove on him, and he is out.
Slippery ground got him. Just good to stop. So here's a 2-2 pitch. Got him. We're halfway home. Tied at 1. Here is Byron Buxton. First ball, Honey. Matt Davidson. And the 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Team up with your hometown lender for low mortgage rates in a fast, easy process. So get started now at rate.com.
So far, Dylan Covey has thrown it very well. He's given up 4 hits, just that 1 run coming in the 2nd inning. And outside of that, for the most part, he's gotten the ball over the plate. And the rain is back.
And here's Dozier. Takes the breaking ball strike. Dozier has singled, walked, also picked up a stolen base. That was back in the 1st inning. That was his 5th stolen base of the season in 5 attempts.
Pretty good idea to start him off with a slow curveball.
If it's a decent slow curveball, 98% of the guys are not going to swing it.
No, they would just soon hit the fastball, and most hitters will tell you they don't think that most pitchers can get that slow hook over on the first pitch.
That ball hit hard in the center field. Uri got a good jump. Can he get there? No. So there's a turn. He's on his way to 3rd, and here's the throw. He gone. Beautiful relay play. Yes.
They're going to take another look, I believe, at 3rd. I think he got him, and it was 2 good relay throws, and we'll take another look at it. The reason why they were able to get him at all is the fact that it's very heavy footing. So Uri gets there, the ball kind of checks up on him, makes a good solid throw, and Tyler Saladino with a rifle throw gets him at 3rd base. Good rotation by the umpires as Adam Hamari goes out to make the call at 3rd base as the umpires rotate because that ball was hit to right center field.
To me, one of the most beautiful plays in baseball. A perfectly executed relay play.
It takes 2 excellent relay throws. They got the 2, and now they're going to take another look, and there's a replay review.
And they have a 2-minute limit this year they've instituted.
Well, he lifted up his right arm, and it looked like the left arm was on the bag. And guys with head first dives these days are doing more of that. If he tagged the right arm, he's out.
He still could have got him in the chest.
Well, the problem is that
before it got there.
The problem is that he went after it. After the first attempt, he went after the tag a 2nd time, which is right here. Normally, when a 3rd baseman in this case goes after the tag for the 2nd time, he believes he didn't get him the 1st time.
Watch the chest above. This is going to be a close call.
Really hate to see that 2nd attempt because it opens it up for a safe call.
What a beautiful, regardless, it was a beautifully executed relay.
Here's another angle you have not seen. Right arm goes down. Right here he misses him. And to me, he's safe on the play. Now we'll have to see if they overturn it or not. The call on the field was he's out. You have to have conclusive evidence to overturn.
Uri got a tremendous jump on that deep drive by Dozier. Then made the very strong throw to Tyler, who made a perfect peg to 3rd base.
They uphold it.
It was not conclusive. Boy, that is just a beautiful thing to see.
Ball in the field stands. Dozier out at third.
8-4-5 on the relay, and 2 excellent throws by Leury and Tyler to nail him at third.
Well, a lot of people think the triple is one of the most exciting and beautiful plays in baseball, which it is. But to me, that is one of, if not the most beautiful play in baseball.
And in a 1-1 game, it's one of the biggest plays in this game.
So here's Grossman, a walk and a fielder's choice. What a jump by Leury Garcia. Come back and get it. There's one. High in the left field. There's Willie Garcia. And that'll retire the side. So a beautiful, beautiful relay play, and we're still tied at 1.
With the White Sox checking and an official White Sox MasterCard debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. And we get a new pitcher coming in the ball game. It is Ryan Pressly, hard-throwing right-hander. On for the 4th time. He's given up nothing. 2 strikeouts, and that's about it. He's always been a very durable reliever. And this year, no exception.
Here's Abreu. A strikeout and a fielder's choice.
When I say durable with Pressly, he appeared in 72 games last year. His ERA 3.70 and a 6-7 record. And for a team that had the worst ERA out of the bullpen in the American League, he was one of the bright spots.
Well, he's 6'3", 210, 28 years old, out of Argyle, Texas.
That fastball at 97, so he can rush it up there. Unfortunately, the best Sox hitter against Presley is Melky Cabrera, and he's on paternity leave for the next 3 games, this one and 2 more. He will rejoin the team, most likely in New York.
Lowered away. I got the other day a text about, Hawk, when you played, did they have paternity leaves? And the answer is no.
They didn't have any leaves.
No.
Presley came over to Minnesota as a Rule 5 draft out of the Boston Red Sox organization. They got themselves a pretty good one.
One out.
Going at 97-98. That one by Abreu. He got a little piece of it, but it stuck in Castro's glove.
Here's Todd. Todd has popped to first and grounded short. Outfield straight up, spread out. First pitch strike.
Pretty good location for that fastball as he threw it right by him.
Best pitch in baseball, well located fastball.
With the Red Sox organization, Presley was used primarily as a starter. And since coming over, putting on that Twins uniform, he has not started a game.
And a boy, Todd. Oh, look at the play by Dozier. That is a major league play by a good major league second baseman. That ball was scolded.
Dozier was a shortstop. They put him over at second base, and he just keeps getting better and better defensively. This is on one knee, the flip from the side, gets it there in plenty of time. That's a huge effort by Dozier. Todd Frazier can't believe it. That had base hit written all over it until the end.
Boy, he's a heck of a player. Wow.
He is that.
And he's just 29 years old.
Yeah, I believe they've got him under control this year and next.
So here's Avi. Avi has hit the ball hard twice, once for a base hit. He led off the second inning, and Polanco made a terrific play on a ball that was just absolutely tattooed.
Well, the Twins defense this year is a radical departure from what it was last year. This year, except for Sano, who's had his problems at third, everybody else has been awfully good.
As we mentioned earlier, the only soft spot they have is the left side. Right side of the infield is really good. The outfield is, Corey Provis said, was just absolutely been outstanding. Nothing hits the ground out there.
Now, we saw that in Chicago. They caught everything. There's Paul Molitor, Joe Vavra to his right. He's the bench coach. Used to be the hitting coach of this team, but now sitting on the bench helping Paul. Paul in his second year of managing.
One and two the count.
Not too many hitters going to be able to get up to 97 shoulder high.
Couple of strikeouts, 1, 2, 3 inning. We'll go to the bottom of 6. Our guys won, their guys won.
Both scored on ground balls. As Jason Castro with the infield back, and runner at third. All he needed was a ground ball, and he got it. And on the other side of the page, Jose Abreu chopping it to the left side. They can't turn 2, and Jose beats it out. That was his 5th run batted in, and that's it. We're tied at 1.
Mauer, Sano, and Kepler. Dylan Covey in his major league debut. 25-year-old right-hander out of Pasadena. Two and 0. Mauer hit into a double play in the first inning and bounced down 3-6 in the second. But that double play was something a little special with Tim Anderson. That's just below the strike zone. So the count 3-0. There's one.
Minnesota-born players, Paul Molitor. Well, 33-19. Dave Winfield and Mauer, Herbeck, and Steinbeck.
Kent Herbeck, what a player he was. What a player Herbie was. Good job of coming back in the 3-0 right here by Kobe. People, he was a big guy, big strong guy, and people don't understand what a terrific first baseman he was.
Back in the years when they won 2 World Series, Herbeck a big part of that. They had Kirby Puckett, Gary Gaetti, Greg Gagne, Terry Steinbeck. They drafted then Chuck Knobloch, who was at that point a terrific second baseman, as well as some pretty stout pitching. 87-91, pretty good teams.
2 World Series and never won a road game.
Nope, didn't have to.
Nope. It's hard. I don't know if that's ever been done before, though. Win 2 World Series without ever winning a road game. I'll tell you, at one time they had Corey Kosky Christian Guzman is short. Corey was at third. Louis Reed was at first. Doug Minkiewicz at second. Doug Minkiewicz at first. That was the best defensive infield I've ever seen.
And Minkiewicz was one of the better defenders to come along in that era, certainly.
Well, offense puts behinds in seats. Defense wins championships. Here's the 2-1.
Made a good 3-1 pitch on Mauer. He's forced to make it good. 3-1 pitch on a guy that should scare the daylights out of you. Sox bullpen up and going. Looks like Dan Jennings.
I like that little move right there. Little gamesmanship, holding the ball on it. But the 1-out walk. Sox fans host a pregame patio party this season. You receive a game ticket and all-you-can-eat buffet and all-inclusive wine, beer, and Coke products. Patio opens 90 minutes prior to the game and closes 30 minutes after the start of the game. Purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/group.
That's going to be it, as Dylan Covey throws very well in his major league debut. Mickey Renteria goes out, makes a call to the pen. Just an outstanding effort. He leaves with the score tied 1-1, and Sano at first, and we'll step out and be back after these messages. For his first major league start. Dylan Covey, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run so far with 3 walks and a strikeout. And our Hyundai call to the pen is Dan Jennings. He's thrown the ball pretty well in the early going. He's brought on to face Kepler. There you look at the numbers. ERA 2.45, on for the 6th time. And he's probably going to get a whole lot of work out of that bullpen. Quality left-hander who wants the mound. Get a little maintenance. Kerwin Danley comes on. The rosin bag apparently is soaked, so we'd like a replacement. And there it is.
So 1 on, 1 out. Outfield swung well around to the left. There's a tremendous gap out there in right center. Very short lead by Sano. off the end of the bat. Looks to second. Goes to first. 2 down.
Tough enough on a ball cued off the end of the bat to make that play at second, even with Sano going down there. But when you factor in the wet baseball that Matt was receiving, made it even tougher. So rather than open it up for a big inning, he got the out at first.
Well, guys, just in situations like that, scenarios like that, just do not want to take a chance. They hate to have a wet baseball in their hands.
Yep, it's difficult to get a good grip, and so he made the throw to first.
Castro has grounded to second. That knocked in Kepler back in the second inning. He also has lined very hard to Tim Anderson, who made a real good catch on him. That's into center field, hit well. Leary got a good jump and makes the catch. Boy, he has had 2 tremendous jumps out there tonight, involving 2 tremendous plays, and that'll retire the side. We're still tied at 1.
For this towering fly ball off the bat of Jason Castro, he turns around, realizing the ball is slicing away from him, stays right with it, and makes the catch on the track.
He had a long way to go right there. I remember A.J. Pierzynski, who's really good about judging talent, told me, he said, if the White Sox stay with that kid, one day he's going to be one heck of a player.
He's got everything you need. He's got a very strong arm. He can play a number of different positions, and he's got great speed. Hopefully, he gets an opportunity this year and makes the most of it.
Boy, those 2 jumps he made on that relay play, and then that one, that actually he made that play right there a relatively easy catch, only because he was in so shallow and had so far to go, and he got there very quickly. So here's Davidson. He's popped up to right and struck out. Boy, Matt, who big 3-run homer last night in the first inning in Cleveland. Opposite field shot. Big 2-run RBI, knocking in both runs in game 1. We lost that game 2-1 in 10. Or Tech won that game 2-1 in 9. Lost the opener 2-1 in 10 innings.
That has big power to right and right center field. Don't see too many right-hand hitters take it over that scoreboard in right center, however. Not only is it out there a long way, but it's also a lot higher than most fences.
Two and two the count. That ball high and deep to right field. Kepler goes back, looks up, and you can put it on the board. Yes. Yes. Number 3 for Matt, and it's a 2-1 Sox lead. Mercy.
Well, there's that drive to right center field. Matt Davidson got every bit of that. It is difficult to do for a right-hander to take it that way. And our Ford home run replay is a fastball and a bomb off the bat of Matt Davidson. A no-doubter.
And that ball hit deep into right field. Kepler is there. And Willie Garcia. Now 1 for 3. First at bat, if you just don't join us. In the major leagues, a double into left center field. Well, he put that high finish on it again. Boy, when guys learn how to think about that more so than from the plate back, they got a chance.
It's 9 runs driven in just 21 at bats for Matt Davidson, who's getting his opportunity and making the most of it. That looked a lot like a Mark Trumbo shot the other way. That one just exploded off the bat.
You get big guys like that, Davidson. Todd Frazier. If they hit it good, I don't care where you're playing. That's going to go. Your ordinary guys, no.
It's a fly ball to right field.
Yeah.
Easily.
Good rip. Get back out of here. It will. Thought that one off. That was a good pitch. He just fought it off.
Jack Putnam throwing into pen. As the Sox have their first lead of the night, it's Craig Breslow, the left-hander, loosening in the pen for the Twins.
And there's a shot. Get down. Kepler stays with it. Makes the catch. That's a hang woofum right there for Kevin Smith. Man, that's a good at bat. And he comes up empty.
What a play by Max Kepler on a sinking line drive. It didn't look like he had a shot at it. He stayed right with it and made the catch, taking it right off the grass to put him away. And that's going to be it for Ryan Pressly. Paul Molitor out to the mound. We'll take the baseball from him, and we'll step out and be back after these messages. Called to the pen is Craig Breslow, the venerable left-hander who's seemingly been around forever. Signed originally in 2002, and he's still in the major leagues. On for the third time, just an inning and a third of work, and no runs. Left-handers have hit him pretty well.
We haven't hit him pretty well in his career. He has been double tough against us. He has a career 2.17 ERA against us in 28 appearances.
And he's been around San Diego, Boston, Cleveland. He was with the Twins before, back in 2008, then Oakland, Arizona, a number of different places.
So here's Leury. He's been one of our stars tonight. Big strike one. He has double scored and also walked and made 2 brilliant plays, one on the relay and then one on the catch. That'll retire the side, but the home run by Matt Davidson. Opposite field once again, and we lead it 2-1. Home half of the 7th. Sox on top 2-1. Polanco has doubled and has an infield single. Corners in close as Jennings first pitch. Can't get it. Good pitch.
Polanco with a perfect night so far. Played well defensively and hit it very well. Now he turns around from the right side.
Outfield for the most part straight up. Hit right at him, right in his tracks. And you can see your name in lights at an upcoming White Sox game. Celebrate a birthday, anniversary, and more with a scoreboard message. Proceeds benefit White Sox charity. So to book your message, visit whitesox.com/scoreboard. Jeff Snell and his crew, they will take care of you.
There you go. A wonderful winter hat. Not needed tonight. Not for the temperature anyway.
Pretty good pitch, didn't get it. Rosario twice has gone out to Saladino at second. Jacks it up.
Going right into the Sox dugout off the screen.
Thank goodness they extended that.
Boy, you're not
the height
kidding.
of that screen.
That's really a great idea.
You got to. You got to. I mean, you know, it's just too many injuries. Two and one to count.
Well, you would think with Buxton and then Dozier, if somebody keeps it alive, Putnam would be coming in after this at bat.
Oh, he got a cookie right there. He knows it and he missed it. Thank goodness.
Got a slider that hung over the middle of the plate. And Rosario fouled it back. Pretty hittable, and he's most unhappy with himself.
Two. And it's full. Yeah, this is a bad time to get underneath the slider. To a pitcher. He's not going to catch that one. But he gets over there very quickly, and he'll hold him to a single. Leury Garcia has definitely shown his speed in the outfield tonight.
Unfortunately, that was a hanging slider, and Rosario, who missed the first one, did not miss the second one, and that is going to be it. Dan Jennings, a high slider. Leury does a nice job of getting to it. As Rosario took that big turn in case Garcia bobbled it, he didn't. So as he talks to him, has not. There he is, coming in now, Zach Putnam.
Well, one of the things I said, you just get a chance to see what the versatility of Leury Garcia tonight. Yeah. This has just absolutely been a great.
And he's throwing the ball just about as well as you can throw it. On for the fifth time. Not much doing. 2 hits and 6 1/3, 8 strikeouts, no walks. You'll need that kind of performance here tonight to keep this lead at 2-1 with Buxton and then Dozier coming up.
And do it from a wet mound.
And not the easiest thing around to do, especially when you have a splitter.
And explain why one of the issues you got to fight out there.
Well, you're worried about that front foot, and you're wondering if it's going to slide on you. And so you're thinking about that. You try to dig up the clay area where you're going to land, and you can see the dugout area there, just to the right of where Putnam is going to land. And like most major league mounds, it's a good composite of clay and dirt.
High into left center. He's tagging. And he's going to go, but the strong arm of Leury Garcia. No chance.
Number 2,
You
Brian
know,
Dozier.
in a game like tonight, in my experience with pitchers, I really feel bad for him as you take another look at this. Because of the fact you will see from a guy who usually has got real good control and very seldom hangs anything, you'll usually see some hangers.
Because, well, you're not just thinking about exactly where you're going to make your pitch. You're thinking about that slip factor also. And, you know, even though you might not consciously think about it, it's in the back of your mind. And when you do that, you're not going to make the best pitch you can make. And he's got to make them here to Dozier.
Well, here's the most dangerous man in his lineup. He's 2 for 2 tonight. A single, a double, a walk, stolen base. And that double, he was thrown out on a terrific relay play by Garcia. Saladino to nail him at third, trying to stretch it into a triple. Bet you could understand him trying to stretch it into a triple because there was only one out.
That's the time to go. You get there, it's a completely different offensive scenario for your club.
Plants, pegs, yes, nice play. Ball was not really scalded, but he hit hard. Meanwhile, we're into the 8th, still leading 2-1.
Bring the fun home.
Counting pitch, Minnesota number 9, Matt Belisle.
Matt Belisle comes in the ball game, the venerable right-hander, seemingly been around forever. And he inherits a 1-run deficit with the top of the order to face.
Here's Tim Anderson, 0 for 2 with a base on balls. Coming back in the 3rd inning. Takes first pitch strike.
Vallejo started his professional career in 1999. On for the 5th time, the ERA 270. Last year, just a great year with the Washington Nationals. 176 ERA in 40 appearances.
There's a good play by on a tough hop right there. Could have made it a little easier on himself, but he still made it off the chest. 1 out. So 1 down. That'll bring up Tyler Saladino. And provide your guests with the ultimate all-inclusive White Sox experience in guaranteed rate club or Magellan Scout seats. Now, these 2 premium seating areas are the best way to entertain your most important clients, employees, friends, or family, and they're available for season ticket packages or individual games. So for more information, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com/premium seating. And of course, there's another. That's a fair ball. He's got a gun. So quickly, 2 out.
You'd never know that his right arm surgically repaired with Tommy John surgery, a rarity for a third baseman. But once he gets his hands on it, he can fire it across.
Those premium seats are just really good. They're really nice. Rob Boaz and his crew, Jeff Bogacki, Rich Kuchar, Lindsey Jordan, Sam Lawson, they'll take care of you. Abreu softly hit in the center field. That didn't take long from the veteran. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is still 2-1 good guys.
To come in the ball game, and it is Nate Jones. He inherits a 1-run lead, and Sox would like to see Nate get untracked a bit. On for the 5th time, his ERA 6.23. Walks have been a huge factor for them in 4 1/3 innings.
Well, besides walks, he just hadn't been making a lot of good pitches.
Well, he hasn't. But just about everybody else in that pen has, including Zach Putnam, who came out for another 2/3 of spotless baseball.
Knock on wood, Zach's back.
Yep.
Putnam, Grossman, I should say, takes strike 1. He has walked, hit into 4-6 fielder's choice, and he's popped up to left field. First of 3 against these Twins here at Target Field. I mentioned tomorrow. That is a 1:10 start. And that game will be over WGN. It was A. Quintana against Irvin Santana. Sunday in the finale, James Shields against Hector Santiago.
You can apply for an all-digital, no-fee loan now at eclicklending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending, boom, your mortgage just happened.
So here's Mauer. Cleveland lost to the Tigers 7-6. Ronnie Chisenhall had a grand slam home run in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Don't see that too often. Grand slam to the bottom of the 9th, it's still not enough.
Well, the scores: Kansas City beat the Angels 7-1 at Kauffman Stadium.
That was Danny Duffy, who is in line to have a big year because he was entirely healthy last year, and his stuff is just about as good as anybody's.
Well, and besides that, you know, the thing with Duffy, he's so deceptive out there. It's hard to pick the ball. I've talked to a lot of hitters. It's just hard to pick it up off of it.
And he throws hard.
And you, as you mentioned, with the stuff he's got, and all of a sudden now you combine that with hard to pick it up. That's double trouble.
No, he's a good one, and Kansas City doesn't have near the bullpen that they had, but Duffy is 2-0.
Let me tell you,
it well.
They may never see
that bullpen again.
That bullpen again.
No, not as
that
not
for
as
that
strong
long
as it was,
and that healthy.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay doubled up Boston at Fenway 10-5. Baltimore beat Toronto 6-4 at the Rogers Center. Yankees beat the Cardinals 4-3. Aroldis Chapman picked up his 3rd save. He now has, against the St. Louis Cardinals, 30 consecutive scoreless innings.
Well, you just don't like to see him come in the ball game if you're wearing a couple of birds on your chest.
From a hitting standpoint, though, from my perspective, I'd rather hit at him than hit it at Andrew Miller.
Well, he's a one-pitch pitcher, and Miller's slider is.
Oh, yeah. Miller wear that right kneecap out with that slider. That's right at him, playing him perfectly. And Leury, if you're just tuning in, has been one of our stars tonight.
Third baseman Miguel Sano.
And MLB TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions may apply, so visit MLB.tv for details. The dangerous Miguel Sano, 0 for 2 with a walk. Nasty Nats beat Phillies 3-2 in Washington. Pittsburgh beat the Cubs 4-2 at Wrigley. Cole over Hendricks in that one, with Watson picking up his 3rd save. Cubs had a chance in the bottom of the 9th and just fell short. Checks it up.
And now you got a man squeezing the sawdust out of the bat. Seeing yet another 3-1 pitch. Same situation in the 6th, and he drew the walk, but didn't advance.
it was.
He got his fastball, but it was on the outer third at 96. Couldn't pull the trigger. And Nate shook off the slider to go to the fastball and then threw a dandy. Here's the outside fastball again.
Kevin with that little finger down. So for the second straight at bat, Sano walks.
Right fielder number 26, Max Kepler.
Don Cooper making a call to the pen. See if he's got the right number. Let's see. Bullpen? Yeah. No, not yet exactly. Let's see. What's the number? Come on, Don.
Rick said, "Get the cord out of my ear."
Come on, Don. Now they're going to kill some time to allow that pen to get up for Hassler. Finally, I think they got to it. And it's David Robertson. The only question is he ready to go? Kevin Smith wants to kill as much time as he can on the mound until Adam Palmieri tells him to break it up.
Adams had a pretty good game behind that plate.
He really has. You don't find hardly anybody looking back and saying anything.
No, fighting all that rain for all that time.
No, I thought he's done a nice job.
So Kepler, a double. He's 1 for 3. And there's first pitch strike.
Danny Santana comes on a pinch run.
And that just does catch the outside edge of the outside corner for an 0-2 count.
Even if you're thinking about stealing a base, these are not the greatest conditions to steal in. Very heavy footing with all of the rain that's fallen here.
Well, this is the biggest lead right there Sano's had all night. And that's a wee bit high. Excuse me, that is Santana running for Sano. No wonder he had a bigger lead.
It was a lot bigger lead.
Yeah. Right underneath his hands. Jacks it up, did not go. Ty Tishner, boy, he took a bullet off the rib cage earlier in this game. I mean, it was scalding.
He had about the reddest face we've seen.
Whoa.
For umpires, he could not get out of the way of a screaming line drive.
Ball just chased him down.
Yeah.
Too much time. Jason Castro on deck. Now a bigger lead. He gone. And we're into the ninth, leading 2-1.
Sox last night, but they look to even the score tomorrow against the Preds. After the game wraps up on NBC, you can flip over to CSN for Blackhawks post-game live. And we got a new pitcher in the ball game, and it's the closer, Brandon Kinsler. 3 for 3 in save opportunities, of which this is not one. There you look at the numbers. For a closer, too many walks in 4 1/3 innings, but he's gotten away so far because the opposition hitting .077 against him. He is a sinker baller. He's not a strikeout closer. And Danny Santana, who came on to pinch run, stays in the game to play at third base. So the Sox desperately looking for at least one insurance run.
Well, we got the right guys to do it. Frazier, Avi Garcia, Matt Davidson. Leury is coming up. Todd last time up was robbed on just a brilliant play by Dozier. Just misses. High pop up, Dozier. Sox fans, don't let your setbacks limit you. Start your comeback today by visiting Athletico.com to request your complimentary injury screening and have your pain or injury assessed by our experts. So for free. That's for free. Athletico, the official physical therapy provider of our White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody. Here's Avi. 1 for 3, that single, extending his hitting streak to every game we played this year. 9. Little soft looper. Kepler coming on, and he can't make that play. So Avi, 2 for 4.
That's one of the few we've seen drop in front of any of these twin outfielders. But Kepler, who made a brilliant play earlier, this time almost gets to it. Bill Miller on the call, noticing right away that this one hits the grass. Nice trap by Kepler.
Well, they say through the first 9 games coming into this one, this Twins 10th, it's just been phenomenal.
The defense.
Defense in the outfield.
Yeah.
So here's Davidson. He's 1 for 3. And of course, that was leading off the 7th inning. And here it is.
He hit the daylights out of this. That is way back there. You're talking about off the facade of the upper scoreboard area. You just don't see him go up that high from a right-hand hitter to right field.
There's a shot into the gap. Kepler makes a nice stop right there. If he did, that ball gets by him, Avi's going to score. Meanwhile, runners at the corners and just 1 out.
That was a very good piece of base running by Avi, because he realized this was going to drop in front of Kepler, because he was off to the races. That's the only way you get from first to third on a 1-hop rocket to right field. If Avi's not going, he's got no chance to go to third base. That turns into a very good base running play. He reads it right away, then turns on the speed. And there's the aggressiveness we've been talking about.
Well, you can't do that unless you check your outfielders.
Right. And great recognition.
He did the same thing in Cleveland, which turned out to be a rocket into left field. He was on second base, and he knew exactly where Brantley was, and he was able to score. In fact, he was right on Kobayashi's butt.
Yeah.
And the only way you can do this is by checking your outfielders. You've got to check your outfielders. Garcia. 1 for 3 tonight. His first, Major League at bat in the second inning, and he doubled into left center.
Well, there's a huge run 90 feet away, and this is a very big situation for Willie Garcia. One of the 3 Garcias play the outfield tonight.
Well, in case you're just tuning in, that's the first time in Major League history we've had 3 guys in the outfield with the same last name.
Starting the game. That looked like a safety squeeze, but no contact.
Felipe, Jesus, and Matty all were in the outfield one time, but not as starters.
Right, they didn't start, and they were on the same team for quite some time and never started together.
Good rip. Good rip. Well, the only thing that Joe McEwen can give you, or I should say Nick can give you, is a hit sign.
Not much else. There's not much else to look at here at 1 and 2.
No, that's it. He's battling him.
Gonna have to hit a slider if he gets it done.
All right, just don't get greedy with it. Nice play.
It was a good stop by Castro.
Nice play by Jason Castro.
Move to his right. That ball hit in front of the plate. He was able to catch it cleanly. That's real good.
Cleanly, right off the cup.
Well, that's cleanly.
Right back. Go throw. And they turn it. They turn it. So we go to the bottom of the ninth, 2-1 White Sox.
Be save number 2, and this is his second opportunity. He's given up nothing. 3 innings, 6 strikeouts, no walks, and just a hit. And he will deal with the bottom part of the order, starting with Jason Castro.
Castro 0 for 3. Driven in the only Twinkie run back in the second inning. He also was lined very hard to short. Beautiful play by Tim Anderson. And then hit a deep drive into left center field that Leury Garcia got a tremendous jump on, went back and actually made the catch look fairly easy. That's up high. There's a strike. 2 runs on 7 hits for us. 1 run on 6 hits for them.
Last time out, David Robertson had as good a curveball as we've seen in a White Sox uniform.
And the count 1-2. Well, he is actually, every time he's been out there, had good stuff.
Yeah, and he's got good stuff again tonight. Just a question of location, but that was a good moving fastball at 93, and Castro had no chance.
Would not bite at that one.
Avi very deep in right field. Leury over into left center field for Castro. Hit the ball very hard last time, but Leury ran it down on the track.
He gone. He knew it. Beautiful, beautiful. Back door right there. He'll grab some bench.
Just a great curveball. Castro gives up on it, snaps over the outside corner, and no complaints. Just
he knew it.
Walks on back. Yeah. Good pitch.
So here's Polanco. He set the ball better, with the exception of Dozier, than anybody in this lineup tonight. He's 2 for 3. Last time up, he just hit a rocket right to Leury Garcia, and there's a curveball strike in center field. Ate him up with that fastball, and the count 0-2.
After a good hook, a high fastball, just barely able to get a piece of it.
He gone. 2 down.
Get another hook. You see where Kevin wants it, and a nice block. You're expecting the curveball down. You certainly are going to go out there and smother it, which he did for 2 big outs.
Here's Rosario. Twice he has grounded out to Saladino. Last time up in the 7th. Singles into center field. There's that curveball strike. And the count 0-2.
Well, that's absolutely unhittable. And David has tightened up the spin. And these guys will start picking up the curveball. This one just disappears. Rosario with 0 chance.
Ground ball, and this ball game is over. So the Sox take the last 2 in Cleveland, win 2 out of 3 in that series, come in here. Twins were 6-3. They are now 6-4. And once again, pitching has just been dominant along with some good defense.
Well, taking a look tonight, the pitching was outstanding. Covey in his major league debut, and then Jennings, Putnam, Jones, and Robertson. And here's the last out of the ball game. David Robertson has been absolutely unhittable, as has Zach Putnam. Just a great job all the way around and a good way to start the Minnesota series. So Dylan Covey